TimeFactor's always on. TimeFactor's always on. Somebody's gotta say it. That's why LH Music is inside your video set. That's why the realtor service who lives here. This is the final closing. TimeFactor. Video company thoughts. TimeFactor.
What does this one mean to you in terms of all the others?
Yeah, this was a little different. I think, my brother passing away. Man, I really wanted to come back here and race, the way he sensed it. So, this was a little different.
Bodie, you're showing so much emotion down here. What's going through your mind?
A lot, obviously. Just a long struggle coming in here, and just a tough year. And
I know you wanted to be here with Chili, really experiencing these games, and how much does it mean to you to come up with a great performance for him? And was it for him?
I don't know if it's really for him, but I wanted to come here and I don't know, I guess make myself proud, but
when you're looking up in the sky at the start, we see you there, and it just looks like you're talking to somebody. What's going on there? Sorry, babe.
Okay, now you see what happens. Because yesterday I was, this is, because I have a huge words of wisdom with these two morons, John Bear Kyle and Dominic Reed, because I wasn't saying, stress me about that. Anyways, this is me, LH Music, and this is the final closing TimeFactor video commentary thoughts for February the 19th in the year 2014. And you just heard last Monday before, just because NBC has come to an end. That's right, NBC has coming to an end. And I think everybody has been under fire about Bodie Miller, which just comes to tears. And the interview asked him about his younger brother who died, and that's why the moment drew a black backlash about this one. So it'll be outrageous. Now, this is yesterday. NBC Olympics boss defends the interview that brought Miller into tears. Well, oh yeah, really. The executive producer of NBC's Winter Olympics coverage has defended an interview with the U.S. alpine skier Bodie Miller, in which the you-know-who, that's right, bronze medalist, broke down to tears after several questions referring to his late brother. That's why the network has issued a statement last Monday, defending that the conduct of the interview by reporter Kristen Cooper. NBC Olympic boss Jim Bell was double down in a conference call with media members. Bell's, here's Jim Bell says, you would be irresponsible not to tell anyone that that's the part of the story. That's according to LA Times. That's what we do. And some of the reactions to it we understand, but don't know the athletes. They don't know their sports. Well, guess what? Bodie Miller was 36 years old, became the Olympic medalist in the alpine skiing last Sunday. He's taking home the bronze medal in the Super G race. However, his moment of triumph is being overshadowed, and that's why NBC Olympics primetime telecast was taped last Sunday. Well, enough for Bell, yeah, who told the conference call, we're fine with it. And the guy was, yeah, the interview subject was fine with it. Yeah. So I think it should be the end of it. It's not the end of the world as we know it. But it's not. It's not. So, it's not fine. It's not right at all. That's why everybody has under fire things for anyone. So, what was somebody again? And see what you think of it, because Friday on my final post on TimeFactor, Friday video conference thoughts. Lauren Green interviews a talk radio news service, and you're not gonna believe this. That's Friday, and see what you think about Bodie Miller, if Miller's interview and all that. Just about that. Now here's a soundbite just for you, and you might think it's so. Here's a question: how many times that you know that NBC badgered Bodie Miller during this interview? Well, you here it is.
BBC's Olympic coverage gone too far to get personal stories from the athletes? That's the question raised today by media analysts at the New York Times and other publications after one reporter brought American skier Bodie Miller to tears, questioning him about his personal feelings during the games. This after Miller lost his brother just last year. Joining us now to talk about it, Rich Lowry, editor of the National Review. Alan Colmes is also with us, host of the Alan Colmes Show. Both are Fox News contributor. His brother, Chili, nicknamed Chili Miller, also had hoped to be at these games in snowboarding. He died, I guess, in early 2013, some kind of a seizure after he'd had a motorcycle accident. He had been prone to them, died natural causes. But obviously, the reporter was pressing Bodie Miller about it, and a lot of people don't like what happened.
Yeah, I understand asking him about it because he's been very open about what this loss meant to him. But this felt like badgering to me. This felt like trying to break him down so you could get the shot of him crying. It felt like exploitation. And I had a very visceral reaction against it, and a lot of other people did as well.
Alan?
Very thin line. Obviously, if you know you're going to be questioned and you know it's going to come up, and a reporter often wants to probe and get the emotional reaction, so I can see both sides of it. It's a very fine line, though, and I understand the need for reporters to be sensitive, too, and if it rubs viewers the wrong way, it's probably not a good thing.
One of the things that brought a lot of criticism is the fact that they could have edited it out. I mean, this was not live. This was, taped 8 or 10 or 12 hours earlier, Sochi time, and they chose to put it in anyway.
Yeah, and that's another indication they wanted this. They wanted him on his knees. They wanted him crying so that he could get the shot and play up the emotional narrative. And they always want the backstories of these athletes, which is understandable. It humanizes them, makes it more interesting. But this just went too far.
We just put up a flash of a tweet that I received this morning when I asked viewers what they think about all this. Let's go back to that. Nell Hunt writes, she sensed his emotions and kept at it until he cracked. Kind of sad, really. And then Cynthia Tanner wrote, it is her job to report what is our business. Bodie's grief over his brother's death is not our business. And then a couple of responses from Facebook. Rosie writes, this was a display of the worst journalism I've ever seen. It was downright shameful.
Oh.
And Stacy Taylor writes, I started yelling, leave him alone at the TV. Stupid questions, very unprofessional. Turned it off after that. And finally, one last one. Victoria Murray says, sometimes people should learn to shut up.
Gee, I've never been told that, but
I know
do you ever
that.
think that are there anybody who tweeted who agreed that this was the appropriate thing to do? It's interesting because most people seem to have the same reaction. It's uncomfortable, but I think you're right, Rich, in that the network, they didn't edit it out. They wanted the emotion because they think that's what gets viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the questions were asked in a respectful enough way. I mean, obviously you lose your brother, a guy who wanted to be on the podium as a snowboarder. Yeah, it was a respectful question, but clearly,
she reaches out and comforts him a little bit, and he said afterwards that he didn't bear any grudges over it, but the normal human reaction when someone is clearly upset about something you're doing or asking, you stop. And you could have had plenty of emotion just there. You didn't have to break him down the way she did.
It reminds me of the episodes of Hannity and Combs where you guys would...
Why did I have a feeling that was going to come up? We never stopped. We kept going.
I always tried to make Alan cry as a guest host, and I never succeeded.
You didn't try hard enough.
Well, they are drawing their share of coverage. You had an interesting thought, though, about your overall take on the coverage.
The thing I found most galling about the coverage so far is the opening ceremonies, the whitewashing of communism, which NBC refers to as this pivotal experiment and this 20th century dream. And it's this hideous ideology that murdered millions of people, and no one would ever talk that way about Nazism.
What do you expect they're going to do, though? They're in the host country. They're probably going to say something positive, which is going to upset many conservatives now praising something is better than
positive about communism. What is there to say?
I wonder why
murdered and repressed tens of millions of people.
Why are so many conservatives praising Putin as a great leader these days?
That's a different issue.
Yeah, it certainly is.
All right, Rich Lauer.
Don't you dare say it. Don't you dare say it, Mr. Holmes. Don't you dare say it. Let's be a lesson to you. Never trust a liberal like you, because you try to criticize us conservatives. Think again, Mr. Holmes. That's all I can say. Now tomorrow it's gonna be Thursday's newspapers and my comments on all that. And don't forget they got it's Friday for an all-new final closing time factor Friday video commentary thoughts from Dailymotion, and don't forget my radio show, Time Factor Radio Show. I have words of wisdom with these two morons, John Barcow and Dominic Reed, trying to run that stupid comments on Facebook and try to trash me. Wait, well, guess what? I will do something with these two morons if it's the last thing I do. So it's my Time Factor television show as far as we're concerned. Don't forget the Facebook and follow LH Music at Facebook.com and Twitter.com. You know my username, LH Music Time, and so is my Time Factor website, which I'll be working on it until it happens. At lhmusictime.weebly.com, so is my Time Factor page on Facebook at Facebook.com/LHMusicTime 2013. That's it, we're almost out of time. We gotta go. And I'm out the door. And I'll see you tomorrow for Thursday's newspapers and my comments from youtube.com/LHmusic1 and my Time Factor website as well, if I'm being up about 4 o'clock or 4:30, whatever. Anyways, I'm signing off to look out for those things. I salute you, America. Take care of yourself from LH Music. Bye-bye for now. See ya.